My name is Garrett Cooper. The name of my company is Yellow Tarp EMS, and we provide medical coverage for various government agencies, specifically the Forest Service and the Department of the Interior. So when there's any large incident, such as wildfires are the primary thing that we actually work on. Various government agencies call us to deploy to those areas, and we provide medical services at those incidents for people who are actually working on that incident. So any one particular incident can have several hundred people working on there, and that can be very much a burden on local emergency medical services. So we are there to provide that point of care contact and then transfer to, if necessary, transfer to local services or bring our patients to the hospital directly. In our industry, we absolutely do have some competition, but we do not look at every other company specifically as only competition. We have a lot of allies in this space as well. We work very closely with some other companies. And really what we all are is we're on a team to provide medical care for our wildland firefighters and to provide the services that they need and that they expect. But what we have as a company that does differentiate us from some of the other companies that are out there is that we are very consistent with the quality of the product and the personnel that we are trying to provide to the government agencies and to our wildland firefighters that need us to be reliable where we're supposed to be, knowledgeable the way we're supposed to be there, and with the appropriate equipment every time we deploy. So we originally sought out assistance from the SBDC because it's very expensive starting a business. We had lots of insurance that we needed to pay for, lots of equipment that needed to be bought. And it was very hard as people working just in the EMS field as paramedics and EMTs. It's hard to come up with the money that's required to start a company like this appropriately. So we needed funding and we reached out, and Jose was very helpful to us for the last year and a half through this whole process. So our journey with the SBDC has been very, very back and forth, very much a process of we don't know what we're doing on this thing or this interaction with the bank or with this spreadsheet. And to be honest, it's mostly Katie, my other business partner, that worked with Jose very heavily on coming up with all the spreadsheets, coming up with the projections, putting them in formats that were really what we needed to have in order to apply successfully for some loans. Ultimately, by the time we were approved for a term loan that we'd been going through a very long process of trying to get, the company was, at that point, we'd already kind of crossed the hump where we were finally approved for a loan, but we no longer actually needed that loan. But we did need still a line of credit. And because of the SBDC, we were able to actually get that line of credit, which is very beneficial to help us cover our payroll needs. And in our industry, you need a big fat stack of cash and then you spend it all and then you get it all back a few months later. But the better payroll that we can have, the more successful this company is. And that is in large part because of the SBDC, we were able to come up with what we needed. Jose with the SBDC was always very supportive of any of the questions that we have and really looking into our business. And honestly, Katie and I, we couldn't believe that this is actually a free service. It's kind of wild that this is just out there and so many people have access to this but are not using it. If you care about your business, you should be willing to go in and ask these questions, at least at first, and see what the SBDC can offer. For us, it was very valuable. Even if we didn't take any type of money from it all, it was still a very valuable process just to have Jose line up our projections and a lot of the grown-up business types of things that we weren't really ready to tackle on our own yet. So it was very helpful. If I had to use one word to describe the SBDC, it would be helpful. Anytime we asked for help, we had help with whatever it was regarding the business, regarding numbers and the spreadsheets and everything that we had to ask for. I would say the SBDC has been helpful.